Hey, Steve Mignani here doing the junkyard crawl at Berniston Auto Wrecking with the story of the Chevy, the heavy van, or the Chevy van, recreational vehicle. Now this is a Gen 3 Chevy van. These were built between 1971 and 1996. Now the thing that made these different than any previous Chevy van was the fact that they grew a little bit of a nose and an opening hood. This allowed easy access to the engine, where you could service things like transmission fluid, coolant, all that kind of stuff. Now this was first seen in 1968 on the Ford Econoline, and of course Chevrolet copied it in 1971 and Dodge in I think 71 or 2 with their B-Series van. But you saw it first on the Econoline, but it was a great idea, so why not? And of course in doing that they also moved the engine forward, which made the doghouse inside a little smaller so you could have better access inside. Now this one is a 30 series. Now Chevy vans were available in 10, 20, and 30. The 10s and the 20s came with 15-inch wheels and 5 or 6-inch lugs. The 30s had a 16.5-inch wheel with 8 lugs. This is 3/4 ton pickup truck stuff right here. And again, the 30 series pickup trucks have heavy-duty suspension, frame, axle, all that stuff. It doesn't interchange with the 10s or the 20s. This is heavy-duty. And that was what was chosen by conversion companies, which would then turn these into recreational vehicles. Now you got to remember, at this very same time, you could buy a Chevy Suburban if you wanted to, or a regular Chevy van. With that said, these were very popular in the mid-1970s with families who wanted to hit the road and not have the trouble of loading a camper into the pickup truck or towing a big Airstream. This kind of did it all in one. Let's take a peek inside. And it's kind of cool. It has the swiveling captain's chairs. These were probably a conversion company add-on, that high back headrest thing. That's not GM stuff. This is 1973, this particular unit. So these seats are definitely added by the conversion company. Inside, the engine is gone. These were available with the 350 and the 400, believe it or not. And after 1988, you could get the 454 in a Chevy van, which was the first time a big block could be had in a Chevy van ever. But before 88, it was all small block stuff. And that engine's gone. It was probably an R code 400 because you wouldn't take a 350. They're so common. But I love this thing. Here's the Royce CB radio. And CBs were all the rage back in the day. And here you have it right here, channel 22 and breaker, breaker, breaker. Any bears out there? That's what this is all about. I never really understood the CB craze, but it's kind of like the internet or Twitter of the 1970s. And here it is. Kind of cool. This is probably a valuable piece on eBay. So if anybody's looking for a Royce CB radio, it's right here at Berniston Auto Wrecking. You saw it here first. In the back, the sliding door was an option on Chevy vans. The swing-out doors were more typical, but the shag carpeting and stuff, that's definitely not Chevrolet. But like I say, there are probably about 7 or 8 recreational conversion outfits that would take your van, or usually they would convert them and then sell them to customers. It's not like you sent it off for conversion. These things were done and then offered to the public. But again, the sliding door was kind of a big deal. The basic door was a pair like this, but with the conversion van or a camper, this is way more convenient. Now, this was originally born at the Chevrolet plant as a panel van. These sliding windows here are definitely tier 2 items that were added by the conversion performing company. Not very pretty, you know, the extruded aluminum exterior, but they did the job. And in sliding like this, once you get situated on your camping spot, it was awesome. Open the windows and then on the road, slide them shut. Around the rear, again, pull-out doors at the tail of this thing. And here's the little ladder right here that would allow you to go up top, however that would work. And again, aluminum, lightweight stuff. You don't want heavy cast iron or, you know, steel ladders on these things, because as you're hitting the road, every ounce counts, and you'd rather carry water or food than a metal ladder. So, you know, aluminum was typical. The rain gutter right here, kind of a cool little touch. And again, sort of the industrial grade, camper grade windows with these nasty perimeter extruded level aluminum structures. But, you know, again, it was conversion stuff, and again, bonded to the roof of the van. And one of the classic issues with these things, with the caulking and the adhesive, would separate and allow rust and water. And again, you can see it kind of getting ready to come apart. And more of the same here with this corner window, which is definitely a tier 2 thing. But you can see the screen inside. You got to wonder, you know, how many warm summer nights were spent with this open. Dawn comes around, wake up to the smell of the Spam cooking on the portable stove. And speaking of cooking and stuff, this does have an outfit here for water. Here is potable water only, sanitize, flush, and drain before using. So, you know, it was almost like home away from home if these things were done right. And this is a nice one. The propane heater right down here. Propane bottle on the other side. And again, you could keep it warm inside thanks to that puppy. Vents right here for the exhaust. Suburban, Dayton, Tennessee was the manufacturer of that. And a lot of this stuff is almost like motorboat quality, not really automotive, but, you know, the world of conversion camper vans. The aesthetics were second to function on a lot of this stuff. Inside, well, there you have the second leather captain's chair with the headrest and the instrument cluster on this thing. Now, it's a 1973, but the speedo only goes to 100 miles an hour. Now, we all know that in 1979, the federal government mandated an 85 mile an hour maximum speedometer. So what's up with this 100 mile an hour stuff? Well, you know, Chevy trucks and vans weren't like their passenger cars. They weren't likely to go 120 or 150 miles an hour. So the 100 mile an hour speedometer on this thing was pretty typical of maximum speed. You wouldn't want to go that much faster than this thing. Now, up front, it is interesting. The fiberglass roof overhangs here, and no doubt there is a bed or sleeping quarters up top. And on vehicles 80 inches or wider, the mandatory amber marker lights are seen here on the top. And it's kind of cool. Up high, we see a window. So it must have been kind of cool going down the road, you know, looking out the window there as the miles unfold behind and with Dad underneath the vehicle. And again, here's that hood. Again, first seen on Ford Econolines in '68 and adopted by Chevrolet for the third generation van in 1971. Heavy duty suspension. Again, here's the front sway bar right here. And it used to be sway bars were something seen only on, you know, Chevelle Super Sports and 442s. But by this point in time, anti-roll bars were installed on most every vehicle, especially something this tall, that much mass up above the center of gravity. That roll bar would do a lot to keep the thing more stable on the road. Now, this is a 1973. It's got the chrome grille, round headlights, of course, but this basic van body was used for a couple of decades, really. And here is kind of cool here. Underneath the hood, we see the original specifications, and this thing was originally built with the 350 V8. We see it right there, the LS9, heavy duty suspension, all the good stuff right there, turbo hydromatic. Let's see if it has positive traction. Sometimes you see the G80 listing, and I don't see it here. So an open differential, but that's okay. You don't really need pausing on something like this. Here's the front stabilizer bar. That is the F49 item. We just pointed that out, F49. Kind of cool. So anyway, that's the story on this 1973 wrecked recreational vehicle. And again, before, you know, minivans and that sort of thing took over, this is how you took your family on the road and enjoyed a summer vacation. Now, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the Steve Maggs YouTube channel. There's lots more to come from here at Bernardson Auto Wrecking and all over the country as we proceed.